In the comic book industry, crowdfunded base offenses are considered especially heinous. At INDIE VOLT, the dedicated and most educated panel on comics investigate these vicious grifts and are members of an elite squad known as the Assbois. These are their stories. Hello, everyone. How is everyone out there today? It is us. It is us. We're here. That's right. Good old INDIE VOLT here for you again, pissing everybody off. That's right. Hello. We had to do one. That was our fake opening. That was our cold opening. But let's hit him with the real one real quick, Randy. First, it's your turn.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of INDIE VOLT Media, LLC, and do not reflect the official policy or position of any guest or sponsors. Viewer discretion is advised.
That's never going to get old. It definitely is advised because we say stuff that might hurt people's feelings. We say it all the time.
Varian's in a rare mood, so
that's right.
Might be extra special today.
That's right. I'm cantankerous.
Yeah.
We got a guest. We got a guest here tonight. We got joined by JD Rosario. I can't put enough spin on my tongue to say it with the respect it deserves. I'm sorry, JD.
It's all right. That's good enough, brother. That's good enough. What's going on, everybody?
We're going to hit the intro. We're going to come back and start talking comics, this industry, and the grifts that have happened, because there's a lot of them this week. Here we go.
What the fuck is the matter with people in this business?
Greetings, everyone. I am Varian Grant, founder of INDIE VOLT Media. Started making comics back in 2008. I am a father, a husband, a geek, a comic book artist, writer, creator, publisher, all that good stuff. Reluctant taxpayer, and you are watching INDIE VOLT Livewire. I'm joined, as always, by the Indie Princess Lola.
Hey guys, it's me, Lola, the Indie Princess.
And of course, Mr. Randy Zim. Hello,
Randy. I thought you were going to introduce the shoe cam.
No, the shoe cam is the shoe cam is more popular than everyone. I mean, it's got the IndieCron branding on it. It's
sponsored by IndieCron.
Yeah.
Yes. Deep thanks. Hello, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am a longtime independent creator and publisher. I've been doing it for many years. Freelanced under a lot of different companies, and right now my specialty seems to be commercial artwork for advertising and educational purposes. Other than that, I have the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube, and I'm happy to be a part of the INDIE VOLT Radio Network.
Excellent. We're joined by tonight. We have JD Rosario in the house. Hello, JD.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on the show. My name's JD Rosario. I've been publishing under the Unstoppable Comics imprint since 2008. Prior to that, I would do ash cans, a lot of uncredited work as an attempted writer on some other zines and stuff like that that would come out in the early aughts, right? Is that what they call it?
Early aughts.
Like that? Yeah. Feels dirty saying that. But since 2008, been solidly self-publishing under Unstoppable Comics.
Cool.
About how many issues you think Unstoppable Comics has printed?
Around 4 a year we try to hit. So we've got maybe about 40 individual issues, give or take. We did a lot of what I called reduxes. They were not reboots, but some of the early books were still ash cans. And after a while, we ended up taking those ash cans and we went back and we would revisit the stories and turn them into 24-page full stories from the early 12-page ash cans that will be out there. So if you count those, that definitely takes us past the 40 mark. And then we would combine some of those issues into graphic novels, and expand it with some extra story content that would go in there.
Sure. Yeah.
40 issues, nothing to sneeze at. I mean, there are people who can't get out, 10 issues after 10 years. I mean, I'm one of them.
So, JD, have you seen the show before?
I saw the ladies last week.
You've been on the
Do,
show before, haven't you?
No, my
No.
first time with you guys. And I've seen Sunday Funnies a few times
Are
with
you
Randy.
sure? I could have sworn we had you on Indie Vault.
I got that
Not
kind
well.
of face.
Do you? All right.
Yeah, it's
I know
ugly and it's been beaten up a lot. So
all of us have been over on JD Calderon's show
yeah.
at one point or another, except Indie Princess, of course. But
Yeah, we got we got the other JD, and then
Yeah.
you got,
JD's a good guy.
yeah. There's JD and there's Diet JD, and, or JD Light, we'll call him.
JD Light.
Yeah.
You ever see my belly?
Let's see. We got some comments. Grandpa's Comic Con says, "Hey kids, hi. Hey,
Hey, Mark, how you doing, buddy?
Rebel Gaming says, I am the law. And Nine Rebel says, this is the view to Joe Trendy. Nita Landing in the house as well. Hello, Nita.
Nita, how are you?
Nita's been writing all day. She's been
Good.
working on the script.
I've been working on a print file all day, so it's all great. It's all good.
So if you haven't watched the show before, we usually put up questions, let everybody weigh in on them. So one question I'm not going to be able to put up until Mr. Calderon has asked for me to wait for him.
Hail Edwin the Ace.
Hey, Edwin.
Launches January 31st, Acevedo.
Yeah, the Ace launches January 31st. He's got to come on maybe and talk about that. But so we'll put up some questions. You'll be able to weigh in on them and talk about them. But one of the things that we had recently, we started on Indie Volt's Facebook page, was we started asking the buzzworthy topic of the day. And quite recent, and some people weighed in, some people didn't. But I thought it would be good to bring this up on the show. We kind of talked about this on JD's show a bit. I'm going to put it up here.
Buzzworthy topic of the day. The creative team on a crowd-funded book changes during its funding period. The artist leaves, taking all the promoted art. Oops. And the remaining team withholds this information until a week or so after the campaign ends. Right or wrong? Very wrong.
Yeah, Lola says wrong. Randy says wrong. JD's not in agreement.
Erroneous.
Yeah.
Erroneous?
I think it's wrong. And my reason for that is this. If some people back campaigns, they back it because their cousin is the editor of the book. Okay, that's fine. They back it because they like the artist, they like the writer, whatever it is. If you remove that component, Nita Landing says wrong as well. If you remove that component and you're crowdfunding and it's during a crowdfunding period, you have a obligation to let your backers know that, hey, this component, this element of the book has changed. And if that's what you came here for, I'm happy to offer a refund. And withholding the information to after the campaign ends. Now you can lock in that money and you don't have to offer a refund. I don't believe the Kickstarter. I'm no Kickstarter expert. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure that once you end the campaign, you lock in those funds that you've accumulated.
Yes,
Indiegogo.
that is correct.
Indiegogo, you have.
Say again, Lola, you're muted.
I don't know about Kickstarter, but if it's like Indiegogo, you have 2 weeks to get a refund after the campaign closes.
See, and I'm okay with that. I think that 2 weeks after the campaign, but the withhold information and then the people on the Facebook on the Kickstarter page, they say, yeah, we withhold information until we found the new artist. I think that's wrong. And I think that Kickstarter should have. There should be someone. I'm pretty sure there's someone to complain about, but Kickstarter needs to be made aware of that type of thing happening because if they'll do it again.
Yeah.
If I could chime in on this, I think I mean you have an ethical question here, right? And as a Kickstarter, I guess I don't want to say veteran, but somebody who's run quite a few campaigns, you have a moral responsibility. And one of the unwritten rules of Kickstarter is that it operates on a good faith system, right? You're going to come up with a product and you're going to fulfill that product if you get the money that's been raised. If you can't do that, and if you can't do that with what you have pitched to the people who are supporting you, then you really need to end the campaign. I think when we brought this up, they knew about this information a week prior to the campaign being over, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, I think you really should just kill it there until you find a new art team to work with you. The backers are still going to be there if you come back and you show some sort of responsibility. Is everyone going to be back? No, but you end up earning a lot more good faith with those when the word spreads within this community. And this community, as we're finding out, everybody knows everybody else. There's a lot of 6 degrees of separation within the indie community. So if you screw somebody over in a campaign, it's going to get around pretty quickly.
So you have a bit more hardline idea. You think that he should have killed the campaign?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, maybe even just killing the campaign straight out and saying, "Hey, I lost my artist. We're gonna try this again when I can," because I know a lot of you came here. I'm not in good conscience. I can't put out the product.
Right.
I can't have you guys sign on for the product that I'm not going to put out. I understand that. Nita says, "I will be livid. I buy for enjoyable story arc, sure, but I am all about the art. Change that with no notice. As a consumer, I will never support you again."
There you go.
Yeah. Max DeVille says, "Greetings." Hello, Max.
Greetings, Max.
Yeah, I guess I understand that. And I didn't think about canceling the campaign, but yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Cancel the campaign and just start over when you get your team back.
That's it. You still have access to the dashboard. One of the good things that I feel about Kickstarter is I get to reach out to everybody who's ever backed me before, whether the campaign has been successful or not, right? I've run 16 campaigns, 14 of which were successful. And I get to go back to everyone who's ever backed me and let them know, hey, we're starting a new one. And again, I feel with me, it follows up on that good faith. I have fulfilled this many campaigns, and that is a strength to people backing you on your next one. So if you show that responsibility, hey, we don't have it together right now, and then you come back when you show you do have it together, I'm sure those people will come back, or a majority of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good way of looking at it. I don't know why I didn't think about just canceling. He should have just canceled the campaign instead of offering the money back. Hey guys, he lost our artist. If you want your money back, go ahead. But yeah, Randy, what do you think?
I think Nine Realms said, "Damn, I was hopeful for Judge Randy." No, I agree with JD 100%. There's not doing it really, in my mind, constitutes fraud because you're selling a product that won't exist by the time they get it in their hands. And last minute switcheroos don't settle well with your audience, and they shouldn't settle well with their audience. So, shame on them.
Yeah, I won't say the campaign this is happening on, but because I won't give the person the airtime. But it's just another step in there how horrible of a part of this community this person is, and they probably need to be flushed very quickly. Yeah.
Was this person's first campaign or no?
No, it's their second or third. What did you say, Ola?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was it on Kickstarter or was it on Indiegogo?
It's Kickstarter. I think it was Indiegogo. It might have been Indiegogo this time. I'm not sure which one it was on. But it's they've done campaigns before, and there was a lot of foolishness with this one too. This one got a false update. It said that they had they actually had their money showed up. They had cleared their goal in like 2 hours, and then about 20 days later, that money went missing. Poof. No explanation, no update. And it's like and people were like, "Hey, I noticed that your update said." I mean, people reached out to me because they knew that we had kept tabs on what the person had been doing. I was reached out to, and I received an email that said, "Hey, it said in the update that with the money that was raised, they now have enough money to do the baseline comic. But now that money's not there. It's gone. It's gone from the campaign, and I got screenshots of it being, a higher amount than what it was, than what it, and what it sits at now. and they were saying, does this mean we're not going to get the book? Because now this person doesn't have, like, if you say, hey, I made $2,000, now we can do the baseline book. And then I go back and you've only got $300. Does that mean that people who gave $300 are just screwed? You know, and people were concerned about that. And then, you know, now it's, oh, well, my artist left a week into the project. So a week before the project was supposed to close out. So now I'm getting a new artist. And, you know, I mean, because that too, that affects the timeline.
100%.
Yeah, the
100%
logo is flipping. Yeah. Once again, though, you know, I can't keep the person honest because they're not an honest person, but I don't want them thinking that we're giving them any free time because they seem to think that we give them the Streisand effect. If we gave you the Streisand effect, your campaign would have cleared its goal. It did not. Your campaign failed.
Oh, it's just the same guy?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So there's history here. Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't he keep all the money from his last campaign and refuse any refunds?
That's a scumbag move.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's it.
Yeah. Ship shitty comics in a plastic bubble mailer, on a paper bubble mailer.
Okay.
They all got bit and people wanted their refunds. He wouldn't give them. And now he's pulling this BS. So.
How many times does this guy have to pull crap like that before these platforms ban him? He just needs to be gone. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this a few times, and not to give more credibility to those that have screwed up, but we should find some way to promote those that fulfill on their campaigns in and out. You know, something like an Angie's List of some sort for those who have had successful campaigns and have shipped out.
Yeah.
How to go about it? Where does it show up? I don't know. I mean, you've got websites like KickTrack that compile all this information, but I think one of the most important things is has this campaign fulfilled on the promises it put out at the launch of their campaign.
Niobe says, I fulfill. Yeah, you do. You fulfill. You get your books out.
We weren't talking about you, Larry.
No, but Larry actually took that person under his wing, or tried to take him under his wing for a little while. It didn't work, but you know, it's one of those things that, you know, it happens, and you just turn your back. You turn your back on people. They're gonna be shitting in the pool where we all come to swim. Which I guess you don't want to do someone shit.
He's going to give a black eye to everybody.
Yeah.
That kind of fraud has to be dealt with and stopped, really. Just offensive.
I got one here for you, Randy. Here we go. Are you ready?
Sure. Doc Feel Good? Dr. Feel Good. This is a fake name, isn't it? Anyway.
Yeah.
I could tell by the surprised pussy he had sitting there. I'm an old school cat like Randy. I remember the underground indie comics when I was coming of age. Okay. These new creators need to find their balls and write more provocative tales. Where's the hardcore fucking? I remember scenes drawn I remember back in the day. Yeah, I remember scenes drawn where the pussy was illustrated with so much moisture, the damn page was damp. Dr. Feelgood. Well, Dr. Feelgood's not the undergrounds anymore, buddy.
Wait till my book comes out.
Oh, dear God.
That's all I gotta say.
Are we talking about the old Italian books that were reprinted here in the States with with English lettering and that just showed every goddamn thing?
Well, no, there were those, but there was an entire era there back that was a direct backlash against the code, straight out of the Tijuana Bibles out on the West Coast. It started.
Okay.
Folks were doing underground books. Your Gilbert Shelton and Robert Crumb. And Robert Crumb was out there testing every line that he could possibly find to say, is this insulting? How about this? How about this? And some incredible work that you'll never, ever see around again, or very rarely, unless you hit up your the underground box at the at the local convention or at your local retailer.
Uh,
But there was some great adult comics out there, you know.
Larry says Milo Manara for life, motherfucker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he also says, man, this guy should just go to Pornhub.
So we're not talking about the stuff that would show up in Hustler or Playboy, those cartoons that were there. We're talking about something deeper. Doc,
well, if he's talking about
Feel Good,
if he's talking about like the Rob Crumb stuff, I mean, that's underground. That's not so much indie, right, Randy? It's different. It's a difference.
Yeah, there's a hardcore and underground movement. There was a big adult comic thing going on up and through the 80s. Gary Groth from Fantagraphics had the Eros Comics line that was printing adult comics. Penthouse Comics was doing Penthouse was doing Penthouse Comics, and Hustler always had Hustler Humor, and they started carrying comic book style stories in there for a while.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't count the old Sex to Sexties, or like I said, the Tijuana Bibles, or there was some good adult material in those National Lampoons that would go through. Or a lot of the adult magazines there after a while were hiring cartoonists. Von Baudet did a lot of stuff for Cavalier and Gallery, and of course Hefner was a big comic fan anyway, so he went through and hired Bill Elder and Harvey Kurtzman, little Annie Fanny, and also Jack Cole did his last work for I think he was there for a good 10 years doing single panel cartoons,
panel full page cartoons,
maybe not that long. Yeah, but really cute girls kind of stuff. But there's been undergrounds that pop in and out, Eros Comics is probably the largest manufacturer of them. Rip Off Press does a lot of underground stuff, but they also do like Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, and Cherry Pop Tart might be the last really good. That and Omaha the Cat Dancer were good sex comics back in the day. Yeah.
Jason Moore says, "Good evening, fine folks. Restoring the industry with your common sense and knowledge. Education never got anyone anywhere in this industry. Sheesh."
There you go. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between underground and indie comics, and I mean, you don't have to have. You can have a sex book, or you could not. Excuse me. But I think that
there's a lot of subgenres out there. I mean, you've got your sex books, and I can't even remember any of those titles. Then you have some absolutely phenomenal adult work, like I mentioned Omaha the Cat Dancer, or Howard Cruz's Wendell strip that ran in the Advocator for a while. That was a very cutting edge back when homosexuality was really a taboo and looked down upon. He ran a really great cartoony strip in the Advocate about his life and his his lifestyle. That was just incredible. I mean, very high grade stuff.
I don't think we lost our balls. I think it just it depends on what the person wants to write about too. If I try to do a story about like just unadulterated sex, I'm not really very good at it. I'm not very good at the real thing. So telling a story, I'm gonna be like
good erotic fiction is hard to do.
Yeah.
It really is.
What was the name of the retailer who the big lawsuit that CLBD was defending him against for selling? Was it porno comics, or was it something else? It was.
No, I think you're right. I think it was sex comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Michael Diana. That's the other big case, the Boiled Angel book. That was just a lot of blasphemy and just hardcore perverse, not really hardcore perversity. I don't know how you would describe it. Very controversial stuff. Very blasphemous material. But nothing like a really good sex comic out there. There's a nice little subgenre out there in the underground field for good stuff like that. Don't forget the classic sex comic Bondage Fairies. Yeah, that ran for quite a while. So who was it? I think it was Chuck Austin did a adult comic for quite a while. That was really, really cute and drawn well.
Which one was it? Was it Siegel or Schuster that was illustrating porn comics under a pen name after the first let go from DC?
I am
When
not
one was in
sure,
the
but they
post
did.
office.
I'm sure they did anything they could in order to survive, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I know Ditko lived across the hall from, I want to say the guy's name was Eric Stanton, who was a big-time fetish illustrator. And a lot of those comics look amazingly like Ditko. It's material, amazingly. I've got a few examples of those tucked away. Because you look at them and you're like, I mean, they're drawn quickly, and for Ditko, it'd be something that he probably wouldn't have wanted to have admitted he did. But it was a lot of bondage, a lot of leather, a lot of ball gags, that kind of thing. That
you need to get paid,
right in his style. Yeah. Well, a lot of times you do what you got to do in order to pay them bills.
Now,
Marston snuck that into Wonder Woman on the back end, right?
Who? What?
It was to the point where he was doing that right on the front end. He didn't even care anymore. Marston, it was just so clear cut. He was,
no. Marston was a whole different animal. Marston did all that stuff intentional, and
he was almost thumbing his nose at him.
No, he knew. He went in intentionally to do that, though. That was something that was. And I wonder now, because I like I said, I'm a big fan of comic history, whether or not Marston actually triggered Wortham, and that Wortham was somehow titillated and angry that Wonder Woman had stopped, because when Marston died in 47 because of cancer, he died of cancer. And Peters didn't last long after that, but they quickly turned Wonder Woman into the domesticated housewife, all worried about her relationship with Steve, instead of the other way around. And Marston Marston only drew or controlled Wonder Woman through 47, so 5 years. So all of that material was only 5 years long, and that was during the war, back when all the troops were reading comics constantly because they didn't have TV or the net or anything like that. So comics were their big lifeline, comics in the newspapers.
And, those guys...
and your occasional book, but you can't carry a book, that well in your backpack. You can throw a stack of 5 or 6 comics back there and carry them, swap with your buddies. Yeah.
I did want to bring up, I talked to someone years ago, and he told me, and he had this really cool comic that he was trying to get older people to sign who had worked on it. He had 3 comics, but one of them had a hole right through it. And I asked him about it. I said, "What's up with the hole?" Because he stopped by my table and he told me his grandfather had it, or his great grandfather had it in I think World War II. And he got shot in the back. Now the bullet didn't hit his grandfather, but it went through the comic.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And he was having it signed by artists. And every time there was an artist, like the last appearance of an artist, he had to bring it there. And I believe this is the Captain America book. It was a Grandpa's comic kind of. Mark is still in the chat. He could tell me it was a gentleman he brought out to the con. He worked on Captain America. And I remember
Arthur Bellman.
Because
he was like the last of the Golden Age, big time Golden Age guys that was there.
Because Mark said Mark said you need to go over there and meet him because you don't have many of the Golden Age guys left. And the guy had the book. He said, "I want to get him to sign this because it's got all." I'm not even sure he worked on the issue, but I want all the old guys to sign this book, and that was pretty cool. But those old books, man, they've got a lot of nostalgia to them that when I go back and look at my older books, they take me back to where I was at that time. But I also think about
Alan Bellman. Sorry,
I think about the kids who were reading that book during that time, and it takes them back. Let's see. Mary Machine Gun says Boiled Angel was offensive to be offensive. Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of crumb material back, Snatch Comics, and that was done precisely for that reason, because he wanted to see if he could offend somebody with funny books.
Jason Moore says, "Oh yeah, Chuck Austin did a very good adult comic called Stripes Strips, right here.
Yeah.
There was sex, but it was actually a very good story, like Omaha the Cat Dancer.
Yeah.
Nita says, yeah, I don't think we're bringing what this guy is asking for, but there is some nice erotic about a bunch of ladies getting ready to break out. Yeah. And that was Alan Bellman.
Yeah.
All right, the last one. Is this the last question? Yeah, it is. Okay.
But Dr. Phil, keep your eyes open. You know, everything that happens in comics pretty much is circular. So there's bound to be some other adult material pop out there sometime real soon. I know Indie Princess is working on some stuff, so there's still hope out there yet, buddy. And you know, if worse comes to worse, maybe you could sit down and write a nice little hardcore story and have somebody illustrate it.
There you go.
Get that thing out there on your own. So it's a great time to be doing indie comics.
Hell yeah.
You can do whatever you want as long as you can sell it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had to send a message. Last question.
Janie's done.
Yeah, she wrote in before.
All right. I feel as though comic creators have become more greedy. Back in 2001, when I started going to cons, indie creators had tons of free swag and merch to give away to interested parties. Now they nickel and dime. Sorry, I'll pass. I'll give my money to Marvel and DC. Maybe not for much longer. At least that way, I know who my money actually benefiting.
That Disney was that a slip?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it was. I saw the NEY. It's a Disney, but just like the news reporter, just like when she was asked, "Who's your favorite Marvel character?"
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, yeah. Janie, I'm sorry you feel that way because you're missing out. Because the Marvel and DC product out there is quickly and firmly, in most cases, becoming what they call substandard. And it has been for a little while. And to say that the current comic creators are greedy, you have to remember that, well, it can't be too greedy. This last year at the cons, there haven't been very many to start with, thanks to the bug. But things are getting tighter, just like just like your budget, you know. And your idea of not picking up their comic unless you can get some free swag, you need to get up on those crowdfunding campaigns. And don't be afraid in investing in something that you like, something with some quality, because it's all up there. There's all sorts of different books of all sorts of different grades and quality, and just some amazing things up there now that you need to go up there. And there's plenty of swag to go around on those things. I get a bag full of them every time a campaign fulfills. The first thing on the top of the box is a bag of swag, trading cards, buttons, stickers, door hangers, anything, you know, whatever you can think of, prints, posters, all sorts of stuff. So don't be afraid to open your eyes a little bit and start looking at some of them crowdfunding campaigns. And
what were you going to say, JD?
No, Randy hit it. The swag is there, but you know, it's you don't get something for free. You know what I mean? If you're backing a book on one of our campaigns, you're definitely getting free stuff. We got buttons. You get our buttons for free in campaigns. You know, we do trading cards, like Randy said. Trading cards are free on the campaigns if we hit stretch goals. If you help us reach the goal to produce the book, then everybody benefits in the free swag.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. It's just you know, and plus, Janie, we can't go to cons anywhere. Where are you getting that free swag at? Nita says yes, because Marvel and DC are not sucking off Mickey. Stickers, bookmarks, buttons, all those come from Kickstarters, right? I mean, this free stuff is still there. You have to buy the book. Now, Nita,
I haven't seen Marvel and DC give away free swag in years. I think the last thing I remember the really good campaign was the Green Lantern rings. What was that? Probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, they did. Marvel did.
You can buy a statue, or you can buy a toy or action figure, but
Marvel did some paper dolls. They did some paper dolls a while ago too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they give it away, or did they sell it?
Well, I'm pretty sure the store owners had to buy it, but the stores gave it for free.
Oh, well, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, for indie guys, it may be free for you, but it still costs money.
What?
You know, I mean, depending on how much you're ordering, a button could be anywhere between 7 cents to 50 cents per button, depending on the bulk allotment.
Yeah.
Marvel and DC, they have that advertising budget, so their swag comes from that. That's POS. Those are point of sale merchandise, right? Those are door clings. Those, not just the hangers. Those are things to help the retailers sell that merchandise.
Yeah.
So if they would show up at cons, that's just the extra stuff that they had in the stock room that they're just like, oh, we're here. Can we give something away to promote for the event? Yes, they have that. That's already been budgeted for. Indie guys, not many indie guys know how to put a book together, let alone set a proper budget to allot for stuff like that. And this is not a knock on these guys, because it's indie guys are pretty
most
much
of them are
people
young
following
and
their
green
passion.
behind the ears anyway.
Yeah. So you don't get to learn how to incorporate merch into your campaigns until you're well into it.
See, I caught that door hanger remark too. That didn't go unnoticed.
That's all right. When I do mine, I'll do a door hanger. It'll be great.
Niobe Comics says, free. We're starving as it is. What does Marvel give you for free? Nina says, I want to know what swag she's getting from Marvel and DC. Well, here's the thing. Janie, you got to admit, you can get swag from these companies. You missed the swag where you used to be able to come by, hear a pitch, or just walk past the table and grab something and keep it moving. Now, to get the swag, you got to actually make a contribution.
Well, now Marvel and DC don't even set up at conventions, and I'm not just talking about this last year.
Well, yeah, but
I don't set up there at all, let alone give stuff away.
I'm just referring to the indie guys.
It used to be the day when Marvel and DC would set up at all the major shows, and they'd have a table. You could just walk by and take poster, because they wanted you to hang it up in their room. Now they're not, they're not proud of anything that they do. So it's all like, if you don't like my book, just don't buy it.
Janie has to understand that, and I think that's those days of just going by, because you're gonna go to cons and you're gonna see people not giving away free stuff.
Hopefully,
very very little things, because very few things, because they're not going to, other than maybe a sticker. They may say, "Hey, you buy this, you get these 2 things for free," but they want you to make a contribution. They want you to buy something, and I don't blame them.
Yeah,
I mean, you go over, then you walk right over to Marvel and you buy, $60-$70 worth of content from them if they're there, or from a company that doesn't really, already making millions, but you want the little guy to give you, the free stuff. I had a thought the other day. We had an article on Indie Vault, and I wrote an article first. I'm not going to talk about what article it was, but I wrote an article. I'll tell what article it was. We wrote an article about the anniversary of TMNT, the creation of Ninja Turtles. And he wrote it on that day and posted it that day. Well, people that I personally know posted a different article from a different website that doesn't focus on indie comics. There's somebody who makes indie comics, mind you, posted it from that company rather than just posting it from Indie Vault. Went to the other website, said, I'll post their article, and it's like, you don't share my shit. So it comes to, I guess what I'm trying to get at is this: you asked the little guy to give you a break and give you freebies when he has very little money or very little disposable income as it is. Some are blessed more than others, to be able to give out free prints or cards or trading cards, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is, why don't you support the little guy and ask that big multi-million-dollar company to give you something for free? Ask Marvel to give you a free poster. Ask DC to give you a free poster. I would say ask Valiant to give you a free poster, but I don't think Valiant is. Did Valiant ever say pencils up? Has anyone checked in?
I haven't heard of anybody checking in, but I haven't had a copy of previews lately. But yeah, it's funny that she thinks the creators have become more greedy, and again, the indie creators are at the end of that stick that seems to be swinging a lot lately, because the indie creators look like they're actually starting to make money. But a lot of folks don't realize that there's a lot of overhead that goes into that crowdfunding amount is not profit by any stretch of the imagination. There's so much overhead that goes into that. A lot of times a 4-figure campaign in the long run, it turns out to be just a solid labor of love. You know, a 5-figure campaign might give the guy a little bit of a heads up on the next book. But you really have to be considerate and understand what these crowdfund expenses are and what they go through. And what I was going to say something else before we got rid of Janie to kind of get off the subject. But would Janie be considered a swag hag?
Whoa. Whoa.
Swag hag.
Because there was a long time there. One of the big complaints about the San Diego show was the fact that you had people going around with bags just picking up swag and not doing anything else. They weren't buying any books. They weren't looking at any art. They'd sit in on a couple of conferences and then go around the room and see what they could get for free that they could put up on eBay.
Yeah.
You know,
So don't just say we're the greedy ones. No, it's not the way that works. It's somebody out there looking for the 500 limited edition, whatever figure or who knows what, so that they can throw it up on eBay for 10 times the price if they had to pay anything for it in the first place.
I remember.
Greedy, come on.
I remember going to Wizard World Chicago once, and I was waiting for it. I had foolishly switched over to direct deposit, and my boss told me it took 3 days. That was a lie. It actually took a week and a half. So I didn't get my check, but I'm headed down. I've already got my Wizard World ticket. I've already got my room booked. I get down to Chicago, and I've got maybe $60 in my pocket, like for the entire weekend. And I'm like, oh no, this is gonna suck. I've got no money. But let me tell you, that was in 2002 maybe, and I came back with so much stuff. I remember coming and my mother looking in my bag and saying, "Wait, I thought you didn't have any money," because I just had that much, posters from companies, T-shirts, all kinds of stuff. But now, you don't get that, and that's fine. But I'm also on the other side of the table now too. Back then, I was, walking around pestering everyone.
Plus, for 10 years, I did a comics newspaper, and we printed 10,000 copies here in the county, and whatever we had left over, we would save, weed through, and anything that was readable, we'd take to shows and give it away for free because it was advertiser supported. All that stuff was already paid for. I had a heck of a time, a lot of times, getting people to take that thing because they'd look at me and go, "That's not free." How much are these? Just take one. So they just take one. I say, take one of each. And they just take the one and leave.
Yeah.
It was very rarely did I walk out of that show with nothing, which was always the goal when you go,
Nita says, sounds like a cheap consumer of free merch that has never wanted to support up-and-coming artists and creators anyway. So who is the greedy one here?
Yeah,
I agree. Janie wrote in last time. She was very she was very mean. She wasn't how come we hadn't called EVS a grift king yet.
Oh, so she's not a friendly person anyway.
Yeah. Dreaded Dinosaur says, "Sup everyone."
What? No. Grand Rapids Con says a show that has a free literature table. It's a very hard to get swag from Marvel. DC is a little easier to work with. Dark Horse and IDW are a lot easier to get swag from. Movie and TV studies, especially Netflix, Funimation, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, the studios would be a lot easier. I think they want to get that stuff out there.
Yeah, because they want to. It's advertising. Well, getting swag from Marvel DC is hard, except for huge shows like San Diego, New York, Emerald City, C2E2, local comic shops do get some posters here and there. Not so much, very rarely anymore.
Well, Randy, you ran a con, right? You've ran cons before. I ran a con last year, my first con before this whole pandemic hit, right? We had a great con, but one of the biggest sponsors of swag was Netflix. They had that cartoon Seis Manos going on, and the writer came to do a panel, talk about the show, and they gave us a ton of swag just to push that cartoon Seis Manos at our con. But then people weren't even picking it up, right? Just like that lit table we were talking about. At the end of 2 days, there was still a ton of stuff left there. You know, so who are you really supplying swag for? I mean, are there really that many swag hags as there used to be?
Well, probably not anymore. But
Yeah.
so I actually know a person who goes to San Diego every year, picks up as much free stuff as they can get, buys some exclusives, and partially makes a living off of all the exclusives. That's from Grand Rapids Con. Says sends back a shipping container every year.
Wow.
I want to go back here and see. Oh, Dread Dinosaur said, "Sup everyone? Hello, Dread Dinosaur."
So
Eric Hodson.
Dreaded Dinosaur.
Meredith Love says swag hag, LOL. And of course, if you want to send Lola a tip, you can do so at streamlabs.com/indievolt/tips. You do so. I think is it $5, Lola? $5. Lola has to take a shot. That's great. It's funny.
She tells.
Towards funding my book.
Yeah, and it goes towards funding her book too.
She hasn't taken a shot on the air in a long time.
Yeah.
I just took a shot.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, yeah, she's got little
you're gonna have to start announcing that stuff now, just so everybody can see it.
We're drinking. You guys didn't tell me. I would have been prepped before the show, man.
Oh no, that's
up shots of Jack here.
that's our semi-annual drunk stream. That's coming up here pretty quick.
Okay. I'm a whiskey guy, man.
Varian has been known to kick out the old style absinthe.
Yeah.
Oh, burn it up, butter.
Yeah.
No, but if you want to offend some people, you let me know. I'll line up the shots of Jack, and by the end of the show, I mean, I'll be cursing myself out. You know,
we might need to do that to afford the streaming bill here soon.
Yeah.
We need to cover our expenses.
So, JD, you got your book is behind you. I see there's
a few books. Yeah. Shield of the Interceptor.
Yeah, Shield of the Interceptor. Sorry. And now you have one on. You have also a project crowdfunding right now, right?
So Shield of the Interceptor, we put it up for a second printing on Indiegogo. And I'm finding out very quickly that Indiegogo is a hell of a lot different than Kickstarter. And it's the first time I'm using that platform, and I'm learning it the hard way.
I just blew them up full
I'm
screen.
Sorry. I'll pull it up again.
Right, hold that up.
There we
Show
go.
that awesome cover. There you go.
All right. So it's a 100-page book. It collects the first 4 issues of Shield of the Interceptor. First 2 issues were written by Brandon Easton, and he's one of the guys that was writing on the Transformers cartoon recently, season 1. I think it was War for Cybertron. So he wrote a couple episodes on there. He also wrote on Thundercats and on Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was on for a little while. And the first 2 issues are illustrated by Russ Leach. I think some of you may know who Russ is, right? And
we have Russ on a semi-regular basis. Whenever
Russ is Money in the Bank. So then issues 3 and 4, or chapters 3 and 4, are written by me and illustrated by Andres Barrero.
Did this just pick up?
What's up?
The Indiegogo campaign, Shield of the Interceptor, Volume 1.
Yeah, it just went up, and I'm learning the hard way. It does not operate the same way that Kickstarter does. I'm pretty much bombing on Indiegogo, ladies and gentlemen.
It looks good. It looks great.
Thanks. We put a lot of hard work into it.
I don't know how that would work. You've got Russ's artwork out there. You just need to get the word out, right?
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, not weird, but they say on Indiegogo you got to bring your own people, right? And I got a crew of people. I've got quite a big newsletter following, but those people on the newsletter already picked them up through previous campaigns. So like I said, this is a second printing on it.
Okay.
Will it go? We don't know. It doesn't look like it's happening on this platform, but we're still making it. We're still working it.
Let me. Can I play the video up here?
Yeah, you can play any of the videos.
Is there any music we'll get copyright struck for?
I don't No, I hope not. These were done on like the iPad platform, so whatever would be on there.
Let's see.
What's
Oh,
up,
that's
everyone?
my video.
Thank you for checking out this.
Oh, okay. So do you have a?
Yeah,
Let's see. Is there one for the comic? Is it this one or
yeah there's a
video? Interceptor number
yeah,
one. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's
Blow
see.
it up.
All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Actually, I want to make sure I do this correctly because I know that my sound is a little wonky because of the way that I've got it set up. Give me 1 second, and we will make sure that it plays for everyone. All right.
So dramatic.
Places villainous creatures of the night. So nice.
It's Russ's work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a video promoting the first issue, which we put up on Kickstarter. But the idea behind the Interceptor comes from my love of comics, right? If you're not loving comic books as a kid, why are you even coming into this to begin with? Definitely not a money grab. And one of my favorite characters growing up was Captain America. I loved the fact that he had a weapon, but it was a shield. You know, you saw people like He-Man and Lion-O, and these guys, they carried swords and stuff like that, but you never saw them use it at all. You couldn't cut anything. But with a shield, you can always see that in use. So when it came time to start writing comic books, the idea was, well, what can I take about Captain America and just put my spin on it, right? Skew it, run it along a parallel line. So Captain America is from the States. His shield is based in science, right? It comes from science, and he's a white guy. All right. With the shield of the Interceptor, he's the man of color. He's from the UK, and his shield is originates with comes from magic. So once I figured that out, I started to bring in, okay, what is magic? What comes from the UK? And I started thinking about Excalibur, and well, you always saw the sword Excalibur, but was there a shield that ever went with it? And all the research I did, I never really found a shield. I found mention of a spear. I found mention of a cloak. I found mention of a dagger, but no shield that ever went with there. So I was like, oh, this is great because it is. I can dive into the mythology, but not be bound by it. So we played off of that, and it grew from there. We incorporated some of the deities from A Midsummer Night's Dream, like Oberon, Titania, the fairies. Found a way to spin off the Lady of the Lake. When you research her, you find out a lot of the origins and the myths tied into Christianity, and there were so many different names for her. So, okay, the Lady of the Lake isn't just one person, but there were different people. So she came from a coven, and they were all different sisters, but we use all those names that we found, and they had a hand in creating the shield that was supposed to go with the sword. Another idea that I had going into it was Captain Britain. And if you remember the origin of Captain Britain, he had a choice between a sword and a necklace. Why a necklace? Why not a shield? So it's just kind of my way to look at what I had read before and see a window of opportunity that I can place with my spin on storytelling. Crickets?
So, yeah, I'm sorry, I was talking.
You were muted.
Yeah, I was muted. I'm sorry. I was gonna say I do like the fact that he's got that shield, and that it does have a pointed business in.
It does have a pointed business in.
He could do some
damage
with
with the
that.
phallic imagery, regardless,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's another book. I say it all the time. I do back a lot of books, but it's one I'm gonna have to back. But from Indie Vote Radio, by the way, Indie Vote Radio listeners right now, 54,331 listening. Thank you guys.
Wow.
Really appreciate it.
Appreciate each and every one of you.
One of them, Italy, coming off of Lola. Italy, China, and of course, Ireland is there as well.
Don't pick on China. They'll pull that plug.
Question from Indie Vote Radio, and this one here is from Dylan. Dylan wants to know when you guys do
Dylan.
Dylan.
Okay.
When you guys do crossovers, what's the most amusing thing as a writer? How do you entertain yourselves? I haven't done many crossovers with my comic characters of other people, and that's because really that's a lot of like it might be fun to do, but later on there can be a lot of red tape and a lot of stuff. Now because you do something with someone's character and you do it in your comic, and then like for instance, let's say the Interceptor here, and my character from The Begotten, they get in a fight, and for some reason JD decides that my character is going to throw he's gonna, I don't know, shoot laser beams from his eyes, fire beams from his eyes. Now I've never had him do that, but it becomes such a thing that it's incorporated into a movie about my character. He shoots those fire beams. Well, cross-dressed over. He's gonna get mad. He's gonna want to know why in the hell isn't he getting a paycheck off of that? Because the first time and the only time that character's done that was in a book that he wrote and that he owns the rights to, and he's legally right. So that there becomes issues with that, and you can sign whatever contracts you want. People have been known to go try contracts in court. You can write a contract, but you still might have to go to court on it. But I did belong to an internet organization where we had superheroes and we would do crossovers. And I'll tell you this, I really did this is gonna sound weird. I like jobbing my character to other people's characters. If jobbing is a wrestling term for losing, I liked having other people's characters beat up my character. Maybe I'm just a masochist, I don't know, but I thought that was it was entertaining to me because I get to beat up my own character with someone else's. And if both creators come at it from that aspect or that point of view, they could actually write a good fight scene between their characters. Most don't though. Most want their characters to
get the best.
Yeah,
to get the best light. Yeah. Dreaded Dinosaur also says, Jack, cracking rum.
Rum is good, but I'm a whiskey guy.
Kraken's awesome. I love Kraken.
But another thing to look at, Varian, is are all the parties going to be involved to complete the story, right? Look at some of the most major things. Image United, that was pitched as a 7-issue series, were all creators down to finish that crossover. I think they only got 3 issues out, and another one was War of the Independents. Right? That was pitched way back in the early 2000s, and I think we've only gotten 3 issues out of that one. I think that was supposed to go 4 or 5.
Yep.
Right. So can all parties stay involved long enough to complete the story?
We can't get along.
Even the big companies can't do that. They haven't had an intercompany crossover in a long time. And in fact, Marvel would go out of their way not to do it there for quite a while. Even when they first started, that's where Squadron Supreme and the Imperial Guard both came from. So takeoffs on Legion and the Avengers, or not the Avengers, Justice League for Squadron Supreme.
But look how Amalgam went off. I mean, that is the opposite, right? They ended up getting not 2 seasons, but they got 2.
Well, there was a short period
on that,
of like 10 or so years that they really got along well together. You saw the Spider-Man, Superman book, the Hulk Batman book by Jose Garcia Lopez. Beautiful.
All right, he is my guy. Everybody talks about Neil Adams on Batman, but Jose Garcia Lopez, that was my guy on Batman.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Great work.
You had some good intercompany crossovers and cooperation there for a short period of time, and then I think once Quesada got into Marvel, they decided that rivalry needed to get fired back up again.
You see, some of the artists I
There was
can't.
a Justice League Avengers book that was thrown, that was in limbo for years until they finally finished it off and printed it.
That was great.
Some of the artists I can't follow because my father told me never trust a man with 3 first names, and then I realized that I have 3 first names. So yeah, he did that on purpose. Shield of the Interceptor. Now you just launched it. Did you launch it today?
2-3 days ago.
So 31 days. Sir, you got $20. We got to fix that. We got
to fix that because it's not just that. You can pick up pretty much our entire catalog. If you look down on it, almost everything is available as add-ons. So you can get all of our graphic novels. You can add that on. You can add on the trading card set if you're interested. You can add on a lot of our individual issues that we still have in print. And then the book is $20. That includes shipping. You know, that's a great price for a 100-page graphic novel.
Yeah.
You know, there's no hidden fees. You're not going to find shipping pop up afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there on Indiegogo.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that. You're gonna pay me shipping afterwards. That I like that cover. Now that needs to be a poster, man. Where's the poster? Where's the?
We did the posters. We did the posters. We even behind me we got that. That was one of our banners at the cons, man. You know, that stands out. That's that was done by Max Dunbar. He does a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff now.
Looks really good. And now, have you been insulted for using a character from the UK instead of America? Have they reached out to you to complain?
Dude, I get insulted for everything, but whatever. I take it on the chin. I don't care. Insult me all you want. You're looking at it. You're looking at it. You're talking about it. You know?
I'm waiting for someone to tell me, "Hey, you have a character from Hell." Like, yes, you never been there. I am. I grew up in Detroit. I'm afraid I have. I know what Detroit. I know what hell is like. Thank you very much. I'm married. I know what hell is like. Yeah. See there. There it goes. You can't say anything to the. You can't explain yourself or complain to the overseer. Because that's the wife. It's the person inflicting the most pain. This is the Interceptor, guys. It is on Indiegogo. Right now, he's shipping worldwide. I mean, so you know, we talk about this. You know, he's shipping worldwide. He has a digital copy, so it's up to you how you want to get it if you're out of the country. But he does have 31 days left on this, and you can go over there to Indiegogo and help him out. Now, let's say someone doesn't want to wait 31 days, and this is a reprint.
Yes.
The way they can get it quicker.
Second printing.
I hate to say that, and then
no, if you want, of course, you could go to unstoppablecomics.com and you can pick them up there.
Okay, and that'll he'll put that in the mail tomorrow morning for you.
There you go, rock and roll, folks.
Maybe not tomorrow morning, but you know, I'm just saying he'll get it out there for you. So you know, we could just think his kicks is Indiegogo right now. So, but we're not going to. We want you to do well on the platform. We want you to do well on it.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. See, you know, going back to the swag lady for a second, right? We're flying. Not that we're flying by the seat of our pants here, but you know, we're not gifted with silver spoons in our mouth. And while you can't set a budget for future works, you still need to raise the money to complete those works. So while this is going to a second printing, you know, whatever we do go over goes to pay the team. You know, we're not doing conventions anymore, and that's where I would make the bulk of my revenue over the year was at conventions. That would go to, I mean, New York Comic Con that's my backyard con, right? We came out of New York Comic Con with enough to fund 3 or 4 books for that year. And without that this year, man, we're hurting. We are hurting. So we got to find other ways to raise the revenue to keep producing content.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's not having cons. It definitely has affected the bottom line of a lot of companies. You know, we were lucky. We would watch. I own a publishing company, Last Call Comics. We would watch Last Call Comics. Our bottom line, our profit would jump every year, and we're really, even if it was just by like just a hair, just a fraction, at least it showed growth. And not having anything for 2020, really, makes you wonder, oh man, did the bubble burst? Are we gonna, when we do get back to doing cons, I seen I forget who it was. It was an article. Who was it? They're well known. They said that they don't know if Comic Cons are gonna get back to what they were until 2024. And even if they do, they don't want to go.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go. And it's going to be different. I mean, a lot of people are hoping that Comic Cons are returning. I know that Good Dinosaur has a con he's going to this weekend down in Miami, Florida. But, a lot of cons are still they're kicking that can down the road as far as they can. We don't know if they're going to actually have those shows or not. We
don't. I mean, if I can use something that I know for a second, New York Comic Con, right? Over 250,000 people were at the show the last time they had it. What was that? 2019. 250,000 people. You're not going to be able to pack those numbers in to the Jacob Javits Center here in New York and keep that social distancing thing going. You can't, right? So now, if that's going to be applied, are they still going to charge us the New York full prices for the event? Because I know am I going to pay for that spot if I know I'm not going to reach those numbers that I did in previous years again? Right? You got to look at that financial aspect to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different year when we do go back. I know some cons are planning. There are some shows that said they will do their shows this year if the states allow. But it's going to be a very different time. Randy does shows and doesn't. And I mean, I don't know, Randy. How's it looking this year?
Not good.
Not good.
Not looking good at all. I did a show.
There's our Comic-Con forecast. We'll go to Weatherman Randy. How's it looking, Randy? Not good.
Not good. Randy. Back to you. How's it looking? Shitty. Back to you.
Yeah.
Karen, my shows, I hold shows in farmers markets, little informal, one day get-togethers. Really charge like $50 a table and $5 to get in, just to keep the serious people in. And the last show I did was in Saginaw, and it was incredibly successful. I mean, huge. We had people a line out the door until 2 in the afternoon waiting to get into the show, and the show only ran until 5. Wow. But they were shoulder to shoulder to shoulder, and there's no way we'd be able to do that and have proper social distancing. Right. It just couldn't happen. So I don't know when we're going to get back to normal. I honestly hope that it's really soon. I definitely hope it's not until 2024. That's silly, but we still have people, scared to go out, and that the wife keeps telling me, even if you do have a convention, who's going to show up? Because everybody's scared of getting anywhere near one another.
We have been joined by Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Earth 2 JD.
Coming in.
I came in to support and rescue my fellow New Yorker.
There hasn't been any Midwest East Coast beef going on right now. We're good.
It's getting rather Bronxy in here. I don't know if I'm just kidding.
You see that right there? That's what's going to get you smacked. I'm from Manhattan and Brooklyn.
And I my time in New York was spent the first time in the Bronx. I stayed in the Bronx. The second time.
I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah.
We'll apologize.
The second time it was in I stayed in Jersey at a hotel.
Oh, that's what you didn't stay in New York. You said stop.
Yeah,
you just made me throw up.
I say, and let me tell you about this Howard Johnson. Yeah, I was down there for the first New York Comic Con. Stanley was the guest of honor, the Javits Center, and and it's funny. The room I booked, I got there to a day's end, and that's when I realized that the rate they had charged me was going to be for the day, not the entire weekend. It was like $355 a night. And I'm like, whoa. So I took my ass back across the bridge and I ended up saying to Howard Johnson. And this Howard Johnson was I called it the Heavens Howard Johnson because it was on a heel, on this ridiculously high heel. But I was, excuse me, like 5 minutes from the bridge or the tunnel. As the bridge was, I think it was no, it was the bridge it took across. It was like 5 minutes from there. I could get to New York really quickly. And
the GW bridge.
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was the George Washington. But I remember just getting across and being happy that I was in New York and stopped by Hanley's Universe, and I would go there all the time and every time I was in New York. But I'd much rather stay in the Bronx than in that hotel.
You ever stop by Midtown?
Yeah, I stopped by Midtown. I walked through Midtown. I walked in there. I climbed those steps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how do you people do it, man?
Yeah. and that's a thin row of steps to go up.
Yeah. We used to have a store here called WYSIWYGs, and they were like that. It was an anime store called WYSIWYG, and they had the front door was this tight row of steps, and if someone was coming up or coming down at the same time, you have to stop, and one of you could get down.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, Midtown. Yeah. So, but that hill, that Hojo's, it was on a safe hill, right? There was nothing around you.
Yeah, there was nothing. It was like the hotel was up there, and we were up so high. My buddy Brandon, we chose an eye blood vessel in his eye burst.
Holy shit!
It was. So he went around the whole time with like this red pink eye, but it was awesome. Yeah,
yeah. I stayed at I did a Wizard World Philly, and I stayed at a travel lodge right on the backside of the convention center in Philly, and the travel lodge was flanked on one side by a Scientology recruitment center and by a drug rehab facility. And I got to say, I felt safer coming through the side of the drug rehab facility than I did the Scientology recruitment center.
You know,
but in that travel lodge, I had the urinal and the sink right next to the bed in the room.
You know what the guy told me when I walked in?
Oh, there's a travel lodge for you. Yeah.
That's a travel lodge.
I walked in and the guy told me, he said, I walk in, I give him my ID, and he says, no parties, right? No parties. And I'm like, I'm from Michigan. And he's like, yeah, no parties, right? And I'm like, whoa. You think, I had to ask him, you think that I drove from Michigan to New Jersey, fucking New Jersey, to have a party?
Of course, you're from Michigan.
At the Howard Johnson?
Dude.
At the Howard Johnson? Like, I could have sniffed. It would have been like, I mean, at least think I might wreck a Days Inn. I might wreck a Motel 8.
Oh, dude, I got stories about con parties I cannot say on air. I'm sure, Randy, you got some too, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good old days, yeah.
Oh, man. I can't talk about it on air, man. Some raunchy stuff. It can fill some of the erotic books that we spoke about earlier today.
Inspiration has to come from someplace.
I want to read a question. I want to read a statement that was given to us.
It was a statement. Is this an anonymous?
Well, this is the one that JD asked me to read. And
okay.
Here for it, so I'm going to read it.
Now that JD is here. Well, he seems to be here.
Yeah. He can respond to this. Now, the person did not send me their art, unfortunately, JD. But you can still respond. Yeah. This is from a person named Brian Lewis. Brian writes, there's this cancer, and you may have heard me read this before last week, but we're reading again now for JD's benefit because he was not here. So, and then both JDs can now respond to this. There's this cancerous idea that artists from the golden age, Kirby, blah, blah, worked harder than today's artists, which I think is total bullshit. The reason an artist today can't knock out 4 to 5 pages a day is because they are better artists than those past guys, which frankly would be considered amateurs today. Look at the detail, the backgrounds, and more. Artists today work harder on one page than Kirby or Ditko did on an entire book. In fact, it's people's blind love for these old school artists that have stunted artistic growth, My own
Stunted.
included. His own included. Wake up. There are better artists, unsigned, undiscovered, who are better than your favorite legendary artist, Brian Lewis.
Well, I'll say one thing. Brian Lewis is definitely stunted. Because his opinion, I mean, without seeing his own art, it's difficult to judge as to whether or not where he's coming from. You understand? Because he might be on Travis Charest and Arthur Adams and Adam Hughes's level. We don't know. I doubt it highly. He probably sucks, because he certainly doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, he doesn't totally suck. He listens to our program.
Oh, well, this is true. Okay. So, Jay, how do you feel about it? What do you think?
A little better than some other sucky people that don't or want to counter program.
Should I be politically correct, or should I answer the way I
we're
want to answer?
TVMA DLSV. It's right above your head.
You're fucking talking shit, dude. I don't know who you. I'm sorry, but I mean, come on. You obviously don't know your history, and if you don't, you're doomed to repeat it, right? Look, just because somebody throws extra cross hatching on their panels, and they give you every detail on the shoelaces down to the little plastic nub, doesn't mean they're the great artist, right? When you talk about Kirby for a second, I mean, his perspective, the dynamics in that, just it popped energy. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, you can have the most detailed panel and still be flat. It's there. Is art a matter of perspective? Yes. So I could be wrong to the person that's probably coming on the show next week, right? I may give it a different opinion, but to come out and flatly say that these people are better than those and we're relying on that, no, man. You got to look at the lineage, and I mean, there's a fucking beauty in all of this stuff, and to denounce it at any point. There's artists out there that I don't like, right? And there was artists that I didn't like way back when that I appreciate now. We spoke about this. I hated Mike Mignola's work, but now, oh my God, for anybody else to have done Hellboy, no, I want Mike Mignola there, right? And what are you going to argue? You got to argue Walt Simonson over Jack Kirby over who's doing the work today on Thor? I don't know. But I mean, it's there,
Spin the wheel.
and it's just everything. Everything is part of the overall love you should have of comics. Don't shit on one era over the other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Everything's built on the previous track too.
That's it, man.
And these guys, a lot of these guys, and I think we talked about this. I'm not sure if it was on Indie Volt or not. A lot of these guys invented this stuff because there was nobody up there before them. Proper sequential art and storytelling and that. And if you don't have an appreciation for Eisner or Kirby or Cole, some of these old great guys, why are you in comics, dude? Go design video games.
Yeah, and if you want to see great detail from an older artist, go check out Wally Wood. Go check out Al Williams. These guys had just as much detail as anyone who's doing anything today.
Go look at Dave Stevens.
Exactly.
By the way, you guys won't this.
Reed Crandall.
You guys don't listen, but I was able to actually go back in my old email. I was able to go back in my email and find my booking. I was at the Howard Johnson by Wyndham in North Bergen.
That's amazing. Oh goodness.
I went way back. Howard, it was in North Bergen, and see, I told you there's a reason, Lola. I never clean my email out. I've got email in here from 2003.
She's just shaking her head.
Great. That's great.
Email from 2003 that I kept. But
if I can add one more to this artist thing, how many of these new guys have staying power that he's talking about? Right?
How many of these guys are remotely recognizable or memorable without their name in the title credits?
Come on, man.
There's also something that I don't think that's been mentioned here is that a lot of these new guys are using a whole bunch of tools and everything that the old guys didn't have access to. Like you've got all these things where you can effectively trace a 3D model on Clip Studio or anything like that to get that level of detail And that's not to say that like Kirby or Ditko or any of those guys weren't detail oriented. It's just you're talking about drawing traditional rather than doing digital and having all these bells and whistles that are shortcuts that they didn't necessarily have.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's such full of shit. This guy is a freaking idiot. Like,
for our radio audience, we've been joined by Michael Oden and his megaphone. He has Tin Can on a string today.
Yes, I do have Tin Can on a string. I don't know what's going on. My audio is acting a little bit weird. And I'm going to try and mute and unmute and see if that helps. But I don't know what's going on.
I don't you sound like you're calling in.
Yeah, just tell people you're overseas, brother.
Yeah,
adds to the mystery
yeah,
of the call.
Hold on 1 sec. Let me try this out.
Gonna hear a random gunfire. He comes back. William Pace says, "I'm back again. Bite your tongue, Varian Grand." Yeah, I wasn't saying that, by the way. I wasn't saying that. I was just reading what was said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Do I sound better now, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, but Varian, we know you come up with all those questions on your own.
Yeah, man. I've got some personal beef with Kirby and the rest of them.
It all ties back to one hater. That's all. He keeps flipping his name around.
I got personal problems with Kirby. Listen, here's the thing. You guys all know that I'm like Randy jokes and I'm Mike Turner and Jim Lee, Andy Park. I'm like, I bow down. And then I'll turn around and look at like Steranko and I'm like, but I don't really do that. I mean, because I look at him I look at his art and I'm like, a lot of those guys, you have to look at it. I mean, like you said, realize that there was nothing before that. They weren't influenced by some comic book artists. They're all doing original work, and I hold every piece of mine and I say, does it look like it can stand next to Mike Turner or Andy Park or guys? And it can't. But at the very least, I hold it up to that standard because I don't hold it to Kirby because I'm never going to be able to meet that. I'll hold it up against Lola or her artwork or my son. I could beat them drawing. That's not a problem. But yeah.
And as we explained before, all of these guys were workhorses. They stripped their style down. Their artistic ability shined through their style. And they're unique, and most of these guys are totally recognizable. As soon as you see a picture, you go, "Oh, that's so and so. That's a Buscema. That's a Kirby." They're distinctive. That's the word I was looking for, as opposed to being just carbon copies of it. A lot of these guys now, their style, pretty, all blend together, unless they have some sort of outside influence that they bring into their style to make them an individual.
That's true. We haven't really seen.
Really sad. We don't see a lot of that in the market today.
Yeah, we haven't seen a new Mike Mignola or Sam Keefe in a while. Go ahead, man.
Right? No, we're talking Kirby, right? And it's funny. Here's a image book from Joe Casey. Joe Casey's one of the people from Ben 10, right? Action Man, right? This is a book called Godland, and the art in this book was creating. Yeah, I was creating Kirby stuff. And it's funny that I have it here. I love it. I'm using it not as a reference guide, but look at the way they're telling the story in the book.
Yeah.
Is it Andy Park? No. Is it Michael Turner? No. But what was Andy Park the guy that was drawing Transformers? Or no?
Couldn't tell you.
Variant?
No,
but okay. No, I think it's away from the microphone.
Okay. Do I want Tom drawing Transformers? No, his art doesn't fit something like that, right? But something like this, I'm popping for it, man. I'm all over it, right? And it's just his storytelling ability in the book is amazing. It's dynamic.
Yeah.
Is it Jim Lee? No, it's not. But I fucking love it. I'm all over it.
Yeah, Scioli did a Kirby biography.
Yes, he
He
did.
did, right?
Yeah,
I just
it's
got that
really
last
good.
week or so. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really good.
yeah.
And who else
It's
was
reading
that?
real
Jose
well.
Ladron did Kirby style influences also for a while.
Yeah.
Well, so did Keith Giffen. When he broke
Oh,
into
yeah.
the business, he was told to draw more like Kirby, so he did.
Okay.
Mhm.
And he got a bunch of fill-in assignments. There's a run of Defenders, and there's an issue of Killraven that he drew in this beautiful, compacted Kirby style. It's just phenomenal to sit back and look at. And he drew like that until Marvel's art director, John Romita, pulled him aside and said, "Kid, you're great. You're fantastic, but you draw too much like Kirby. Got to get your own style."
Yeah. Remember when he was drawing Trencher?
So then he found,
Yeah.
Then he found some European guys that he copied for a while, and he settled into his own style here eventually. But
Yeah.
he went through that guy and what's his name, Ted McKeever.
Yep.
Did a little bit of that look there for a while, and yeah.
Mhm.
But he also did a run of, correct me if I'm wrong, he did a run with Paul Levitz on Legion. That was amazing. The Darkness Saga, I think it was.
Oh yes.
Just a high point as far as superheroes go. Just an amazing, the right people, right time, right place, right property.
Mhm.
So I sat and watched, since Varian's out of the room, I sat and watched an episode of Comics Kayfabe today of the John Byrne book.
Yeah.
The pirate book that he's been doing off of his site. He's been putting up a page of X-Men every day.
Yeah.
And these idiots at Marvel are too stupid to actually prep the thing and print it because they'd make hard money at it. But somebody out there pirated print on demand books of it. I guess there's at least 2 volumes of it out there. It's phenomenal. Best burn I have seen in probably freaking years. And they were just drooling all over it. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this overhead shot. Look at this perspective shot. Look at this, the way he drew that face. It's amazing. And the stories are phenomenal. And you can tell that Byrne is out there doing his best work on stuff that he loves.
Yeah.
And it's just a damn shame that Marvel doesn't take that and get a Austin equivalent inker to ink that up and release that, because they would make bank.
I'd kill for Byrne. I mean, his Avenger stuff.
Oh,
those
dude,
are my
and
favorite Avengers,
yeah.
man.
if you think Byrne, and then you turn it up like 3 notches, that's what this stuff looks like. It's over on it. What is it? JB something. He's got a site. He's got a site where he's sticking it up. It's fan stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how he passes. This is fan fiction. Here it is. And he picks up right where 138 left off, only with the ending that him and Claremont wanted to do with the Dark Phoenix saga. And that is the Shi'ar come in and pull the Phoenix energy or entity out of her. And they leave her pretty much a mentally deficient. No.
Yeah, she's like 5 years old.
She's got the mentality of a smart 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it takes off from there, and they run across Sauron and MODOK and just all the characters Byrne wants to draw. And he's the end of the first book. He's building up to a big crossover with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers from that period.
Man, and those were some really great miniseries during that time. Fantastic Four versus X-Men, X-Men versus Avengers, Avengers versus Fantastic Four. I mean, those were early 80s stuff, and
the cool thing with it is you can tell Byrne is loving it. He's loving what he's doing, because you go through and you look at it, and they were showing it close up. It's cartoon kayfabe. You can find it on YouTube, but they're going through and showing pages, and you're like going, that's a Gene Colan layout. That the way that he laid those panels out like that, gotta be wow. That looks like. And he's doing these phenomenal detail shots of these long distance, incredible. They're sitting there going, "Oh, look at that water! Holy crap! He drew water and made it look like water. This is incredible." They show he does this long distance shot of Muir Island that's just beautiful, just gorgeous. And he's doing all of this. You can tell he's doing photographic research and all. Does a fishing boat sitting out in the ocean, just ungodly, crazy, beautiful stuff. All of the faces are gorgeous. Some of the layouts, I'm sitting there looking at it and going, that he loves that Neil Adams stuff. He went back and looked at all the Neil Adams X-Men stuff, because a lot of the layout work and the composition is very similar to that. And you can tell,
right back.
like I said, you could tell it's Byrne at his best, doing his best because he loves what he's doing, and it's just a high point in my opinion, of Byrne's work. And it's just like I said, it's a rotten shame that Marvel just doesn't walk up and go, "Hey, we'll pay you whatever and we'll print it," because it's beautiful. Yeah.
Jeremy Ryder says he doesn't think he likes the term "ass boy." Yeah, that came from
We're not the ass boys. He pronounced it wrong. we are the sup ass boys.
How that started was somebody wrote in. They said, "What's up, ass boys?"
No, he said sup ass boys.
Yeah, it's like sup. Yeah, sup is short for what's up.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Sup, ass boys." And so I was like, you know what? We should. It's like, we take a lot of insults and we keep them. They're nice. They become a part of our show. Michael Oden sent me some art.
Yeah, so we actually got we've been having a few people do fan art pieces of our upcoming book, The Embrace, which is really cool, and we got a new piece that we got tagged on Twitter.
Yeah,
and holy crap, it was
the name that artist is named Booty Juice.
Yeah, the artist is named Booty Juice. I mean, not what I would have gone with personally, but I mean, Booty Juice got it.
Yeah, yeah, Booty Juice is very talented. We're gonna have to talk to Booty Juice about his artwork. This is really good work.
That'll make Dr. Phil good, feel a little better.
Yeah,
knowing we're actually here showing some Booty Juice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We see we got to show Booty Juice online.
There you go.
Absolutely. That's why I sent it to Varian. I was listening, and I heard Dr. Philgood, and I was just like, you know what? He could use some Booty Juice. So,
we're gonna get kicked off the air. We're gonna get kicked off the air. I'm telling you.
Especially since it looks a little bit like has a Mike Turner feel to it.
Yeah. Jim O'Reilly says, I saw that piece on Twitter and started craving Booty Juice. So see,
there you go.
Yeah. Booty Juice. Absolutely. But yeah, that's excellent artwork from Booty Juice. I think that that and for fan art, that's really good. That's really good.
I mean, he's a pro. I actually reached out to him. I was like, "Yo, so what are your rates? Because I might have to bring him on to do something at some point. Because that just looks tremendous."
Yeah. And here's the thing: if you're listening on Indie Radio, go over to the Nine Rollins Publishing Twitter. What is that? Is that Nine Rollins Publishing on Twitter?
It's at Elysian Fields _0.
Okay.
Because that was I had set it up initially to promote for Elysian Fields and everything like that, and then just it turned into my whole Nine Realms Twitter. So
yeah, he's got the artwork posted over there. You can check it out. Nita says, but I got scolded for Con a few weeks ago.
On our program?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was here. I don't think it was.
How did she get scolded? Facebook call her up and say, "Hey, you can't say that." Next time, just say, "See you next Tuesday." We'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they found out she wasn't British.
Oh,
yeah.
What did I say?
You can't
strike for not being from the UK. You can't use that kind of slang.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She said, "Yes, was it here? It was here. Really?
Oh,
I think it was a comment you wouldn't read, Randy.
Oh,
yeah. Because was it you can say the C word, we can't.
It was
by you, Randy.
It wasn't meant in seriousness. I'm telling you, not at all.
Wait, I can't say that. you don't see me driving around New York.
Where TVMA DLSP?
It's like could you imagine that type of thing? Like I remember there was I was watching a documentary, and it was about it was a pirate station out of Philadelphia, like a pirate radio station or cable station or something, but they could say whatever they wanted to say, and then they got bought by one of the bigger, like media companies, and they came in with a list of things they could no longer say, and you just see all of these like their on air talent. They were in this conference room and they're looking like, "Are you serious?" And they were saying like, "So wait a minute, I can say ass, but I can't say, the F word. And they're just like, well, what if I say, F and A? And it was these people were so dejected and they looked so hurt. And then one guy was like, I don't even know how to talk. I don't even know how to use English language anymore.
Yeah.
And I just felt bad for them. But that's kind of like this show. Like, I can't cuss. Oh man. Like then I go on other people's shows. People don't realize how bad my mouth actually is. I have a really foul mouth.
I tone it down for this. I use fuck like a Smurf uses Smurf.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a fucking comma.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Who the fuck you think you're fucking talking to, you fucking asshole? Fuck, bro. That's my natural. It's my default line. Right there.
See, I have and people like they look at my Facebook and like, oh, Varian's so nice. I am nice, but I cuss a lot, and I cuss a lot less on here. I'm surprised. Like this version of me is really nice. I would date this version of me.
Nita says my daddy's a sailor.
Yes, amen. Yeah, man, I got a bad mouth. I think I just may have called someone out their name today on TV. Well, they couldn't hear me, but
I think maybe JD could back me up on this one. As a New Yorker, don't trust somebody who refuses to curse. Something's wrong with that person.
Yeah.
The synapses aren't firing in the right places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something fucked up with that person.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they may be very crazy.
I have the exact opposite problem with what everyone's saying here is that like going on these shows where I am able to cut loose. I've got a fucking 2-year-old at home and he's imprinting, and so like every single time I'm talking, it's like, all right, need to make sure I have dad filter on everything.
Yeah.
And then when I come on these shows, it's literally I was infantry, so like we dropped F-bombs like it was nobody's business.
Drop it.
Like
hell yeah.
So like that's what I do when I come on these shows. Is that like I've actually gotten into a little bit of trouble on some of the streams where it's supposed to be family friendly because I'm just used to being on shows like this where everything's TVMA and I'm just going. I'm just
let go and it's weird because I do that in the comics too. Like I've written I told Lola an idea I have for my next comic, and she told me, she says, you can't tell anybody about the origins of why you're doing that comic. You can't. You're gonna get taken away and put in a special place for people. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna.
You cannot leave this story with that and expect any of us to be any bit okay with it. With any other explanation that you going into depth is still origin.
I can go. I can go. I put it this way. I won't say it on air. I'll say it off air.
Okay. I was about to say, like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to be Varian, I'll listen to this story, but like, oh man. Because now you've got my curiosity piqued.
Yeah,
that's the character whose name rhymes with tortoise, right?
No.
Oh, it's a different character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Pixel Trader says, "Yo, hello, Pixel.
Yo, Pixel. How you doing, buddy?
What's
Hope
up,
you're doing
Pixel?
all right,
How you doing, man?
Yeah. So now, Shield of the Interceptor, you got that. I see that you got Statue of Liberty behind you, and you got 2 other books. Now, do you and JD ever work together on books?
No.
We just recently met.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We recently met, but we found out we had a old connection of some sort.
Yep.
As a kid, going to grandma's house on the weekend, I would buy used comic books, or comic books for like 50 cents a pop at the local bodega, right? Your corner store. And
Right.
I would love going to grandma's because, well, damn, with $1, $2, I got 4 books. I'm good for the next 2 weeks, right? And it just ends up that, well, that shop was owned by JD's dad.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, and those are my books.
So awesome. That's the coolest fucking connection. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yep.
So JD, were you selling him the books, or was your dad taking like, you don't need these anymore? I'll sell them.
No. I would go to shows, and
Mhm.
they would at the time you could buy like a long box of books
Mhm.
for just $20, and they were
Okay.
just random 50-cent books, and I would buy 2 or 3 of them, drop them off. I worked usually like Friday, Saturdays at my father's store, and maybe one day during the week, and I would just tell him just put the money in his box, for me. I would rarely ever get that money, but it was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it would just sell the books for 50 cents. So it was cool, it was all good.
Yeah.
It was just
Yes.
funny. It was just funny when I forget about it. I had yeah, I got a strange story that I could share after about another person I work with that was very bizarre.
The other thing though, JD just we talked about the 6-degree separation earlier. JD closed ours in even more with somebody that he knows that I knew. I was talking about somebody, and he says, "Oh, you have that? You know that person?" I'm like, "Yeah, that person." And like they worked right next to me for a while. And JD said, "Let me tell you the story I got of him." And I'm like, "Wait, how do you know them?" And so that was cool. So it was like he went from like 6 degrees to 1, basically, like right there.
Nice.
Which also attached him to Randy, because that person looked at Randy as like a mentor. So people look at Randy as a mentor. There's a lot of us. It's like, Randy, you are responsible for half people in Michigan.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't want to take responsibility for some of them. Then.
Yeah. There's a lot of us responsible.
Randy's like, can I be responsible for like a quarter of them?
They may call me a mentor, but they obviously weren't listening to me.
Randy's like a episode of More. That's not mine. That's not mine. Look. He doesn't draw like me. He doesn't do business like me. Look. You gotta give him jump up.
Let me open this envelope. You are not the mentor.
Randy gets to dance and doing the Cabbage Patch.
I'm still disappointed that with the Law and Order title, I didn't come in to see Judge Randy. I was waiting. I got so excited. I saw Law and Order Indie Vault edition for comics, and I went, "Oh shit, are we getting Judge Randy?"
No, we just got that right there, the comic industry unit, where we got detectives working the case. Because one thing we got to talk about before we end the show, and I know we've all talked, we've kind of mentioned it. We talked about someone else, the big giver. And we didn't talk about Misty Campy and her what she did this week, and told basically, how do you not ship your comic and then tell your customers, I like to see you do better. Imagine opening Pepsi, tasting it, and saying, "Ew, tweet." Most of you do that, but they're like, "Ew, this is disgusting." And you call Pepsi and say, "Hey, I got a bad can of Pepsi," and they say, "Oh, I see you make your own carbonated beverage, asshole." Click. Like, when you be like, "Wait a minute, I paid you for a refreshing beverage. How are you gonna cuss me out?" Pepsi probably would. Although I got an empty can of Pepsi in a box once. They sent me a whole voucher, $10 voucher for a whole new box. It was like, for one can? Really? All right, thanks. But
because customer service very.
Yeah, Zim the comics mentor. What do you guys think about that? Is it right up to date? What happened?
No, please explain to me. I don't know what the topic is.
Cliff Notes version, Randy.
Cliff Notes version. Alex DeCampi did a Cliff artist worked for DC or some other companies. I don't know. Did a book with David Bowie's son, wasn't it? Duncan.
Oh, yes, Duncan Jones.
Duncan Jones. Yeah. Right. They fulfilled, or they were looking to fulfill. Some people hadn't gotten their books, so she jumped on their case and said, "Well, you haven't finished your survey or this or that," and come up with all of these excuses. And if you think you can do better, I want to see you do better.
Well, she called a few of them deadbeats.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't paid for the shipping, you know.
But the shipping was another thing too, because the shipping came later, right?
Right.
Like she didn't initially charge shipping on the books. She charged shipping after the fact.
And I don't think that should be common practice either. Over at, I understand Kickstarter. I know I don't believe Indiegogo does that because it's all figured in as you're going out the door.
Yeah, that's all part of your checkout price, is that it immediately adds your shipping cost in there, which is what I do even on my Kickstarters. I have the shipping already.
I know we've taken more than one complaint about people that have gone and crowdfunded on Kickstarter, and then lo and behold, they get kicked back with a $20-$25 shipping bill, and they're like, "What the, what the fuck is this?"
I've never heard about it after the campaign ends. Like Odin says, I've heard about it. Well, in the beginning I did it. I added shipping costs. Right. And when you go to check out or when you go to add your pledge, you see, there's going to be a shipping charge added. But
that's the way it should be. Just like when you're buying anything from any store, they'll tell you, here's whatever the shipping is.
The shipping issues due to backer kit. That's different. That's a third-party platform.
Okay.
That's for people that are trying to sometimes continue the sales after the crowdfunding period is over and before the fulfillment period has begun.
Okay. But that's where she was having a problem.
Right. But then people were calling her to task about that. Her response was, "I'd like to see you do better." And it's like, and she called him
that's bad business. But I mean, if you want to cover that, bake that into the overall cost. So, they don't see the shipping cost, but they know, okay, you know what? That's part of the wholesale. So nothing's going to pop up later on. And then for your own peace of mind, that with each sale, the shipping cost is already baked into the charge. You don't got to worry about that later on.
If I could jump in here, I mean, I've read Alex DeCampi's work. She's actually a very talented writer. She's very good. But the problem is that she suffers from what I see a lot of these professionals that work at these companies, whether it be Marvel or DC. They got these big heads. They think they're smarter than you. They think they're better than you. It's saying, I mean, you just happen to be in a spot where you got a job. You're not necessarily better than anybody else. You're not necessarily, special. You understand? You're just doing something that a lot of people just want to do. You understand? And you have the privilege of doing it. You understand? You were awarded. Yeah, right. However, I don't know how she got it in, but but she has the privilege of getting in there. You understand? And it's a privilege a lot of us are locked out from. You understand? I can't just walk up to Marvel and be like, "Hey, give me a job." Hey, listen, I feel I'm just as talented as she is. I throw down my work next to hers any day of the fucking week. Period. I don't give a fuck who she thinks she is. Here comes a common fuck. Sorry, guys. But I mean, listen, and I think they raised like $300,000. I mean, you're in rarefied air, lady. You should be grateful to your fans for supporting you to that level. You know? Because I mean, the rest of us are struggling, and probably touch and say, "Well, you're the little people. That's okay." I was like, "Listen," please never let us get in the same room, please.
This is Pixel says, "Hey, I got news for you. I just got an email from Allegiance Arts. Due to the contributions that IndieCron guided toward the Red Rooster campaign, I'm being added to the Order of the Dawn." Flex.
He's flexing. It's a weird flex, but okay, bro. I'm just kidding. That's pretty cool. I'm waiting for the rest of the Allegiance Arts books to show up at Walmart. I like to finish the story. I feel like I've watched half the movie and I can't find it. Took it off a stream and I'm like, what the fuck? Help. You get what?
I said, what do I get from Pixel? I'm showing his Instagram all the time.
Oh yeah, your logo's right there. That's why Pixel shows up. His logo's right there. I want to show something. Speaking of Lola, though, she got some art back from her book.
Nice.
Some of the first art back from character design, and she told me I can show it. So here you are, character design for Lola's book.
Nice.
Very nice.
She's pretty excited about that. I'm jealous. I'm she got somebody else to draw a book. That's fine.
I'm not bitter.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it. Yeah, I'm drawing other stuff in other books, but yeah, the whole book. She got very talented artist. I don't know if he wants his name said, so I'm not going to say it, but he might not care. But at the same time, I'm just
need to do a tipsy short story for Revolt.
I will. I got some. I got some things planned. I got some things, and now that I can draw for a couple of hours,
better kick that in. Done. I'll get my drawing into Lola this week. I got it on my list.
The shoe can, baby. Yeah, it's the shoe can. So guys, we're getting ready to wrap up here, but final thoughts on the As the Camera.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
What happened? Wow. Okay, never mind.
Like JD said, she's in rarefied air. She should be much more thankful. She's gonna. Do you guys think she's gonna suffer next campaign because of the way she's handled herself this time?
Yeah,
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I think
like she might lose onesies, twosies, but if we're gonna be realistic, she has a network that she can utilize that she will not fail. Like it's sad to say, but like it's not like one of us where if we pulled something like that, like we have to fight for every scrap that we get. She doesn't really, and I wish it was different. And who knows if she does maintain this attitude consistently over time, people might just get fed up with it. But it's unfortunate. It's one of those things where she is a big enough name with an established following in the main line where people are just going to buy her stuff.
Well, and like I've said before, though, people with names in the so-called mainstream, those names are fleeting, and they'll always have a few fans, but in the long run, probably 99.8% of the population don't know who she is.
right.
Oh yeah. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can say that about just about anybody. But I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean,
but what I'm saying is that importance, that badge, because they always used to wear that as a badge. I got printed at Marvel, or I got printed at DC. That doesn't mean that you're very talented.
No.
That just means you were a cog for a while at Marvel or at DC, and you got paid a page rate. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you are somebody of import. The people that are memorable, the people that are well remembered, are the ones that were well talented, and they'll always have fans that'll follow them
or remain consistent over a number of years.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, she's a talented writer. I've read some of her stuff. She's good. It's just, she just needs to chill. Maybe she just had a bad day. Who knows?
That's very true too.
Who knows?
But here's the thing though. I don't want to give people the I had a bad day excuse, because I'm not able to use it. I've tried.
Why not? But you have a lot of bad days. That's your problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you, officer. I'm sorry I was having a bad day. Doesn't seem to work when that baton's bouncing off my head.
As long as they're just bouncing it off your head.
Yeah. We're gonna start with Michael Oden. Michael, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter at @ElysianFields_0. You can follow Nine Realms on Facebook, Nine Realms Publishing. We have our Kickstarter for Elysian Fields, the softbound deluxe edition of the book going. We've got another 6 days left on that, and we're close to funding. So any support we can get on there. And then we have the sign-up page for the Embrace live on Indiegogo right now. So please check us out. Any support we can get on any of those projects is greatly appreciated. You guys are helping childhood dreams of being comic book creators come true.
Pixel says, go ahead.
Childhood dreams of being a comic creator, not influenced by Randy.
Not influenced by Randy. I unfortunately have only met Randy recently. So I can claim adulthood Dreams by Randy.
I don't even want to go there. Adult Ed
We're
Dreams.
getting personal there.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Pixel Trader says the mass comics reading public pays almost zero attention to comics drama. The only thing I find wrong with that sentence is mass comics reading public. Not that big anymore.
Well, the thing is though, it's that one person who comes and says, "Hey, did you hear? Alex Smith over there is a fucking Nazi," and it's like everyone believes it because they didn't follow the drama.
Dude, you're not supposed to use the N-word on this show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, the second N-word.
Yeah, Alex Smith may have some serious problems with people of a particular place and time.
Mark says, I'm not sure I agree with that. Look at Mike S. Miller. For an example, lost 80 to 90% of sales between Lone Star 2 and 3 because he pissed off his core. Respect to fans is key. Plenty of other stuff to buy. Respect to fans is key in the position where Mike was, because I think Mike passive aggressively chased off people on purpose. But another thing that really hurt Mike's campaigns was the fact that he was late delivering some of that product. It took me forever to see Lone Star 2 pop up, and I between that time I stopped being a fan of Mike S. Miller. And I consider him talented, but I no longer have a need to read his books.
See, I everyone finds me super talented and super delight to be around. But Mike, you did not finish where you were from. I'm sorry, we got carried away. But and we had to send a dig at Mike Miller. Where can they find you at? Good Mike.
Me, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, you might.
I finished where I was going. I finished my whole spiel.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's look at Mr. JD Rosario. I can't put the tongue in there, man. It just doesn't work.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Not everybody rolls those R's, baby.
Yeah.
So you definitely can find me at unstoppablecomics.com, Unstoppable Comics on Facebook, Unstoppable Comics on Instagram. You can find my book, Shield of the Interceptor, on Indiegogo, along with some of the other books we got. So we got Shield of the Interceptor. You can also pick up the Storm Chasers books on that campaign. You can also pick up our zombie book, New York versus the World. Hey, you can watch New Yorkers either get eaten or fight for their life. Either way, yeah, it's something happening to New Yorkers you're either going to like or you don't like. Or you can pick up another book on the campaign, Dragonstorm. Or you can pick up another book, Unstoppable Origins, or you can pick up our character guide, which is like the old Marvel Universe handbooks, right? So you get your image, you get your biography, you get your stats. These are all things that are ready to go and print on the Indiegogo campaign. You don't have to wait long once this campaign is over, folks.
Good stuff.
Joshua Perry says, I made it. Yes. See you later.
That's JR. Just time to get out the door. Thanks, JR, for showing up, though. Really appreciate it. Thanks, JD. The other JD. Where can they find you?
Mr. Calderon.
You can find me on Facebook under JD Calderon. You find me on the YouTube under JD Calderon, and under Indie Comics Explained, where I interview and talk to comic book people about indie comics. You can also find me on the Twitter under JD Calderon, and you can find me on the OswaldChronicles.com and TallTalesOnline.com, and soon to be out on Kickstarter, probably about a week or probably about 2 weeks. These lovely babies will be up there. So
nice.
It's coming.
Cool. Jody Fee also late. Geez.
Sorry, I'm late. Well, for everybody who's just coming onto the program now, we are archived on YouTube, so feel free to jump over there and like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. We're still looking for 1,000 subscribers so that we can worry about getting banned off of YouTube.
Yeah. Randy, where can they find you at, sir?
You'll find me on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me on Twitter under Randy Zim. You can find me also on YouTube under the Zim Geek channel, ZIMMGEEK. So please go over there and like and subscribe on that as well. And most of all, you can find me here on the Indie Volt Radio Network, where Varian and I will be back on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for the Breakfast Buzz. And then I run a program on Sunday mornings, if you can get up early enough, or catch it archived over on YouTube, like I said, called the Sunday Funnies, where we try to talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of comics, and have a little fun about the industry, or reminisce about stuff, everything from Golden Age books to underground titles, and just all sorts of great comic stuff. So, and then again, I'll be back here with Varian for the Livewire program at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays as well. So
that's right. We're always here. Lola, where can they find you at?
You can find me on pretty much any social media. Just look up Indie Protest, look at my beautiful face. And you guys can also catch me tomorrow at 9 p.m. for Geekgasm.
Cool. You'll be there tomorrow, and me and Randy won't. It's awesome.
I don't know. Me and Mary, we're still trying to figure that out.
Okay. Not being there is tight. Yeah. Of course, you can find me on all social medias. KYD_V on Twitter. Big Daddy Hot Crotch on Grindr.
You are Big Daddy Hot Crotch on Grindr?
That's right.
Okay.
Gotta make the money.
We weren't here to talk about our porn careers.
I had to get that one out there. That's pretty funny. I do like the fact that I don't have a Grindr profile, but if I did, that would be my name. Okay. Last Call Comics.com, my publishing company. WhenWeRiot.com, my personal website, which is
somebody over on Grindr. Where the fuck all these comic book people come from?
That's funny.
Also, WhenWeRiot.com. I have the worst luck picking up website names. I have been contacted about my website name. No, it's not for sale. No, I'm not giving it up. As well as
you're lucky you still have it, that they didn't just take it right out from underneath you.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
With the way all this censorship's been flying lately.
Yeah. I haven't advertised it much either, because people are like, wait a minute, When We Riot.
JD, he's got whenweriot.com. So they got a call from GoDaddy going, what kind of site do you have here?
Yeah.
It's like when I ain't selling.
Yeah. Pixel Trader says, Grandpa's Comic Con, I agree about Mike. His support was heavily weighted in the comics gay community, so the situation is a little different, and the CG is extremely attentive to creator actions. Yeah.
I just want to point out what I said was my personal feelings also. So it's not a reflection on Mike's talent. It's a reflection on Mike himself and his attitude.
Yeah.
And then, of course, guys, you can check us out on Indie Volt Radio, which 67,488 of you have done tonight. 67,488. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, actually, we still have them. You guys are great for listening. We appreciate it. You can listen too. You download the Indie Volt Radio app on Google Play. If you have an Apple iPhone, you can download the Streamer app and look up Indie Volt Radio until we go native on in iOS. But until then, Indie Volt on Google Play. It's also, or if you ask your Amazon Alexa device to play Indie Volt Radio for you, she'll do that as well. And on Roku, Indie Volt TV. I need to update this graphic. It's got a new logo. Indie Volt TV on Roku or Roku-enabled devices. You can look it up. It's free. We got some independent content streaming there, movies, a couple of wrestling matches, some comic interviews, and some more long-form interviews and videos, just like this one, that we can say what we want to say and not have to worry about the restrictions of YouTube or Facebook yanking it. So, check that stuff out. It's up there. It's delicioso. And Indie Volt TV, Indie Volt Live. If you want to send your questions in, Indie Volt Live at indievolt.com. Include Indie Volt Live in the subject, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less, so that I can put them on a little card for you, and then we'll make fun of them. And remember, as Randy always says,
our feedback will be better because of your setback. # get an education. # Indie Volt.
Yeah. So
To be continued, everybody. We'll be back again. Geekgasm on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. The Breakfast Buzz Thursday at 9 a.m. All of these times are Eastern Standard Time, so please adjust your clocks accordingly. The Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. And I have nothing planned for that yet. We'll figure something out. And then Monday nights, Michael Oden and Eric Hodson narrate. It came from Webtoons, where they talk about digital sequential art and comics. So make sure you turn in for that. That's Monday night at 9 a.m. And then we'll see you again on next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Did I say 9 a.m. for Monday? It's 9 p.m. for Monday. And we'll see you again on Tuesday at 9 p.m. again for the Livewire program, the standard Indie Volt podcast.
And because this is our special Law and Order episode, I will be ending us here. And my impression is Finn finding this comic has been damaged.
We need that major twist ending.
Yeah. Wait a minute. So I'm gonna open the comic up and say, "Oh my God, guys, there's semen and fecal matter in here." Dum, dum. Here we go. Wait, it gets better.